Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
You're not using your brain if you seriously think Raheem Morris should be fired after coaching one season. I know there was big aspirations for the Falcons in this season of possibly going to the playoffs and making some things happen in the playoffs, but damn it, it's just one season. Like, can you imagine if the Lions fired Dan Campbell after his first season, after going 3-13? We won 9 games. Not saying it's great. I want to win more. But damn it, he won 9 games in his first season. Second season, I mean, there's a lot more to build from. And then, truthfully, things are going to change as long as the coordinators are intact. We did a good job firing Jimm Lake. We know that was a huge problem all season long. Zach Robinson, he was on a cusp at one point, but then he started to finally pick it up and get it together as an offensive coordinator, started calling some good things, and we definitely seen a huge change when he got Michael Penix Jr. in the game and at quarterback, being able to move a little bit more. But this is nothing crazy for a head coach in his first season to go 9-8. Like, are you kidding me? You want him to be fired? Andy Reid was 5-11 his first season coaching in the NFL as a head coach. So you mean to tell me a guy who won 9 games needs to be fired? No. Absolutely not. We're not doing that at all. To me, man, it takes time for things to turn around. Anybody who's out there who's ever even built a team, you know everything has to be solid from head to toe. It doesn't take one guy just to be like, all right, all of a sudden he's a guru. No. One of the traits of being a good leader is being able to identify other good leaders. And as long as you can do that, as long as Raheem Morris can do that, I think the Falcons will be all right. Obviously, we see Jimm Lake. We thought he was going to be better than what he was. He wasn't, but now he's been fired, so we can move on. Zach Robinson, he got it together, so we can keep him as an offensive coordinator. The rest of the position guys, also defensive coordinator or defensive lineman coach was fired too, but these are changes that's necessary. Because at one point, the defensive line, they were awful. They had a historically low total for sacks as a team. 10 in the first 11 games. And then after Raheem Morris took advantage of the defense and started calling plays, that's when we seen the team go to 31 sacks by the end of the year. From week 11 all the way to week 18. Crazy. They they did triple the amount of sacks they had in the first 11 weeks. So, I mean, yeah, it takes time. You got to adjust. You got to make sure you find the right people to put in places. So I don't think Raheem Morris needs to be fired at all. Now, if he continues to have seasons like this, next 3 seasons are like this, or even next 2 seasons, I'll keep it on a short leash. Then, okay, maybe we need to have a conversation about what he's doing as head coach. But as of right now, no, man, they made the right move, firing defensive coordinator Jimm Lake and also the defensive lineman coach. Now, the thing here that I really, really want to brush up on is because a lot of people are concerned. Okay, yes, the Falcons, they fired their defensive coordinator, but now who are they going to get to fill the void? Jimm Lake, we thought he was good. He wasn't. There's a couple targets in here I think people assume are going to be good, but they're not going to be good targets as a defensive coordinator. One of those targets is Robert Saleh. I know he was with the New York Jets. The Jets thrived. They had a bunch of hype on them. They thrived defensively, I should say. But I personally don't give that credit to Robert Saleh at all. He was defensive coordinator for the 49ers from 2017 to 2020. We seen him go to the Super Bowl. And I mean, yeah, you can make an argument for that 49ers defense at that time being decent, but to me, Robert Saleh is not a guy who's really going to throw different schemes at you defensively and help your team win. That's not it. The credit I want to give and the guy I want as a defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons is Jeff Ulbrich. I think this dude, the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets, deserves to be a defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons because the Falcons, yes, I know, they didn't really have the glorious stats to showcase how much talent they have on the defensive end. And they did have some injuries. But I think with Ulbrich and seeing what he did with that New York Jets defense, I would love for him to go to Atlanta and make a similar thing happen. He also worked with Raheem Morris in 2020 on the Atlanta Falcons on the Atlanta Falcons staff when Raheem Morris got moved to interim head coach after Arthur Blank got fired, or after Arthur Smith got fired, not Arthur Blank. But I like him in this move because he's proven to be a solid defensive coordinator. Jeff Albrecht has proven to have elite defenses and elite schemes. So I want to see him in Atlanta as the defensive coordinator. When he was in New York, he was top 5 in yards allowed for 3 of his 4 seasons as a defensive coordinator. Robert Saleh can't say that because he wasn't the one controlling the defense. Not many other defensive coordinators can say that. And I think this is a guy where he may try and go for some head coach positions, but I don't think many people even want to linger around New York. And Raheem Morris need to call up his old buddy and say, hey, go ahead, come to Atlanta. We got a spot for you as the defensive coordinator. They got to make that happen. That's who I want to see as the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator. Someone who's already proven he has elite schemes and connect with his guys. Because they had Sauce Gardner, who came in early, showed out big time. They also had a multiple defensive linemen who showed out early in the past 3 years. And guess who was the defensive coordinator? Jeff Albrecht. So that's the guy I want. If not Jeff Albrecht, I think another dude who could be helpful. He's not my first candidate, but I still have him over Robert Saleh, and I still think he would be a great candidate for the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator. Steve Wilks, man. He spent a lot of his time in the league as a defensive back coach with the Carolina Panthers, and honestly, he's been around the league for a long, long time. But I think he also has a lot of value to bring because he has that veteran experience and that veteran presence. He was also the 49ers defensive coordinator in 2023. And that's the team that also went to the Super Bowl. I seen some solid schemes thrown at the Chiefs and on that Super Bowl journey, even when they played the Lions in that AFC or in NFC championship game. So I think Steve Wilks is also another guy where I would accept him as the Atlanta Falcons head coach. He also has the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator. He also has a relationship with Raheem Morris as well. But number one option is going to be Jeff Albrecht, for sure, without a doubt. So I think the Falcons, they're decent talent-wise. They just got to find the right guidance for their guys on the defensive end, man. Obviously, we still want to add talent, without a doubt. You never want to just go, with teams being okay with what they have. You want to try and definitely draft one of these elite defensive linemen that we see either with Penn State, Georgia, somebody, man. So we got to draft somebody that's elite. I think we had pick 15 in the draft. So it'll be interesting to see, man. And I'm excited for the offseason. I'm excited for the moves that they'll make. Obviously, we know Penix is going to be the starter going forward. Offense looks pretty decent moving forward, and I'm happy with that. But anyway, look, man, I'm going to leave y'all with the positive note here. And for this positive note, I'm just going to say, let's see where I'll go with this. Okay, yeah, I'll say, when you lack patience, you become petty. And I think I said this before, but maybe you need to hear it again. Who knows? When you lack patience, you become petty. So make sure you have patience and make sure you're sitting still and waiting, yet still eager and hungry, actively trying to seek out that opportunity. But you can't get petty. You cannot get petty. You got to have patience, or else you're going to start doing petty things, trying to find a way to cheat the grind or whatever it is you're trying to work toward. So when you lack patience, you become petty. I'm going to just leave it at that. Other than that, man, look, that's all I got for you. I appreciate you for kicking it with me this whole time. Damn it. Man, if you've been listening to this whole time, you listened to the full episode, like all the way through. Oh my God, man. I rock with you. You family. And look, I'm going to tell you this. You definitely shouldn't be scared to send this to somebody, cousin, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a niece, a nephew, a coworker, friend, anybody. Just say, hey, check him out. He got a dope episode or he got a dope podcast. Just go ahead and send it their way. I promise you nobody's going to mind. Worst case, they just won't listen. I mean, who cares? Whatever. Other than that, man, look, that's all I got for y'all. So I appreciate you tuning in, of course. And we'll be back later on this week. And so on and so on and so on.